What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today we're having a look at the next upcoming Super Evolution character in One Piece Treasure Cruise, and as you can see here, it is going to be Bartholomew Kuma, which does make sense thematically with the characters that we've been receiving recently, but it definitely is a bit of a curveball. This is actually the first Pirate Rumble legend to receive a Super Evolution. It's kind of crazy though, like over the last couple months, like we had Crocodile, for example, from the treasure maps, received a 6+. We're finally getting to these game mode characters that are starting to age, actually receive buffs. Now, this is actually big for a couple reasons, right? Because, remember, Pirate Rumble legends, they aren't that great in normal content, and we'll have to wait and see, because typically what they do is these characters will be characters that you can get for free, and they are typically good in upcoming Kizunas or upcoming treasure maps, just other events, right, as a free-to-play option to help you get through the content. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they make it in such a way where the character is actually usable in content, or is this character just going to be a straight upgrade to its Pirate Rumble abilities. One thing to also note about this character as well in terms of the naming, it says Pirate Rumble, so this is the name of the season called Selfless Impulse. This is actually the title of the character when they super evolve. So this Kuma will be Bartholomew Kuma, Selfless Impulse. So this Kuma, this is the artwork. I believe this is from Thriller Bark. So I'm assuming this time around that Selfless Impulse is going to be referring to him post Reverie, or him when he gets that idea to go to Egghead. That's my theory in terms of what the artwork is going to be for this character, so we'll have to wait and see exactly, but either way, this is probably what I think it's going to be, either this scene or the scene where he's flying away. One of the two would be my guess. They also could be Marineford, probably not though, we'll have to wait and see. So in terms of what this character does, let's do a quick breakdown and kind of see where they could change some things. The big thing about this, though, is that it is thematically quite a good idea to release this 6+, because it goes hand in hand with the Revolutionary Army characters that we've been receiving recently. Obviously, we had the new Sabo come out for New Year's, and this guy is a bit of an interesting unit. I feel like he's only going to be used in very niche circumstances, mainly due to the advantageous class effect, so we'll have to wait and see how good that's going to be. But you got to remember that a lot of these Cerebral units, like his territories for Cerebral, we have Mole and Karasu, who are Free Spirit and Cerebral focused, and these guys are more Cerebral centric. So when we have a look at what Kuma is, he's a strength powerhouse shooter. Now, I don't know if they are aiming to make this guy usable with the Revolutionary Army characters. If that is the case, he will change his class. My assumption, it is going to be Powerhouse Cerebral. We already have quite a lot of Kuma characters in the game that are Powerhouse and Cerebral, so it's not that far of a stretch to say that's going to be the case. Another thing they could do, which would be absolutely wild, if they change this guy from Strength to Int, or even to Dex as well, because if we have a look at what Kuma does in terms of Rumble, if you give those abilities for the Int or the Dex typing, or even if they make it Cerebral focus, that's a really big deal, because this guy is a menace in Pirate Rumble, especially if not only they side grade him, but that usually it'll be a side grade with a few upgrades on top, so we'll see exactly what they have planned. My theory is that he's not going to type change, but I feel like he'll class change, so we'll see. In terms of what he does, his Captain ability gives -1 cooldown, strength characters 5 times attack until you miss a perfect, 4.5 times otherwise, 1.5 times HP, does 100 times damage taken from enemies in the previous turn as typeless damage to all enemies at the end of the turn. So basically, if you take like 1,000 damage, you multiply it by 100 and then deal that back as AoE damage at the end of the turn. So it's very difficult to stall with this guy, because anytime you take a hit, he just immediately like repels damage back to them. And also makes crew immune to blow away, so unique mechanic there. His special ability will do 50 times damage taken from enemies before you launch the special. So again, if you've taken like 10,000 damage, you activate the special, however much damage you've taken, multiplied by 50, and that's how much damage it does to the opponent. If your max HP is above 60,000, you get a 2.5 times color affinity for strength, otherwise it's a 2.25. So he doesn't really do a whole lot. It's a relatively old Sugofest exclusive at this point. Another thing to note, Rumble Legends do not have super types, super classes, EX supers. I would love it if they went ahead and did that to make him actually kind of usable in content. I think it would be a fantastic idea. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. They just don't like giving Super Evolution super types, and the fact that it's a Rumble Legend that already doesn't have one to begin with, I would be surprised if we got a super type with this guy. But honestly, I would love to see some ability changes here. I would love to see him actually be useful. I would like another utility effect in his captain. Maybe some more matching slots would be kind of neat as well. And if he does end up being cerebral focused, if they end up pivoting him to cerebral, like just boost strength, powerhouse, and cerebral, I think would be a good idea as well. And something to make him synergize with the Revolutionary Army in some capacity, I think would be kind of neat as well. Now, in terms of the special, though, the special is like, it's pretty bad, let's be real. It doesn't really do a whole lot. The fact that it's a damage dealing special based on damage that you take, this is redundant. You can pretty much ignore this. But then if you have a certain amount of HP, you get a varying color affinity boost. It just doesn't do a whole lot. It needs a utility effect within the special to make it actually worthwhile using in content. But then again, we don't know how they're going to deal with the Rumble Legend with a 6+. Are they going to make them usable in normal content, or are they purely looking at it from a Rumble standpoint? So it's going to be difficult to tell. But either way, you can see this is very bare bones, very basic, and definitely needs some help. So we'll see what they have planned. The utility in the special would be nice. Additional boosting effect would be pretty cool as well. Potentially some slot change I think would be kind of neat too. Maybe they could give him an EX super or a super type that does enable you to do slot change as well. And they could change everything with this unit, especially with a type change as well. Because not only will that make this character a little bit different to use in normal content, but the Rumble will change drastically if they end up changing his color. Let's go ahead and have a look at the Rumble stuff, and because that's where he kind of shines. So in terms of Rumble stuff, he is immune to Special Bind, and he also gives Dex damage reduction. His Rumble ability gives level 5 attack to strength, applies level 10 blowaway buff to himself only. This effect is kind of redundant. And then for the first 3 times, every time he blows away an enemy, he gets a level 3 attack buff to all of your strength allies. So yeah, even though this effect is kind of redundant, it actually does synergize pretty well with this. But in most cases, this effect by itself in a vacuum is really bad. But in tandem with this, every time you blow away something, you're just getting further attack buffs, right? So this could be pretty neat. I don't think that there's too much they need to change here, considering how powerful Kuma's Rumble ability, Rumble special is. I don't think this needs much changing. Like, for example, if you look at S-Hawk being like the best Rumble unit in the game, his Rumble ability is like pretty mid, let's be real, but you're not using him for his Rumble ability. You're using him for his overpowered busted special, and it's the same thing with Kuma. I guess that's another thing to kind of mention. Because he is a Rumble-focused legend, he is only 20 cost. I wonder if that's going to change when he super evolves, because if you guys don't know, legends for the most part are 55 cost. When you use them on a crew, and then when you're using them in like when you 6+ them, they go to 65 cost. They get like plus 10 typically. Now the Rumble legends in Rumble, they are only classified as 20 cost characters. If this guy super evolves and end up raising his cost, that will actually kind of ruin the unit actually. So we'll see. Let's have a look at this special though. 32 CT, which is pretty respectable. It does 2.5 times damage to all enemies in a large radial range, which is perfect, and then does 2 times damage that will ignore defense to 2 enemies, and that's the big deal there. So being able to do a very wide array of damage, which is pretty stock standard, and then doing 2 times his attack that goes through defense is a big deal. I guess there's so many things to talk about. Like he could have level limit break as well. Because this is a game mode limited character, I really hope that the level limit break isn't too harsh on this guy. Like hopefully you don't have to get him to level 5 to get everything that you want. That would be kind of harsh. And he might even have like a super rumble special. Dude, if this guy gets a super rumble special, that's going to be kind of nasty with it. I don't know. That might be too much. We'll have to wait and see, but this has a lot of potential. Like, imagine this kind of ability, but like, you got to think, he is mainly strength focused with his effects, but if they end up making him like powerhouse focused, that would be nuts. If they make him cerebral focused, that's a massive buff to the cerebral team. If they make him int focused, that's a huge buff to int, even though they do not need it. Like, imagine having this and S-Hawk on the same team. That would be absolutely disgusting. And if they make him, if they change him to Dex, because you've got Dex with Morley and all these guys, you got Sabo being int, so int, Dex, potentially, he could just stay strength. And then the classes, he maybe if he ends up being like strength powerhouse or strength cerebral, so you could like, use him on a cerebral team, but you could also use him on a strength team. There's a lot of different ways they can go about it, and I think this is a really good character to 6+ now. And the thing is you're going to be able to get this character for free because he's going to be available in the Pirate Rumble season. So everyone will get access to this guy, and it's going to be very interesting to see what his level limit break will be and whether or not it's actually worth using the posters, because you know, currently there's not too many characters worth using level limit break wanted posters for, but this guy with some very good buffs may be one of the characters you could invest in. So again, when we get that info, I'll give it to you guys so you know exactly what to expect with this guy. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with his 6+. I really hope that they make him good in normal content. I think he definitely deserves it. We deserve a high-level powered Bartholomew Kuma legend, so hopefully we get one in the future. As for this guy, I hope he gets the buffs he deserves. He really needs it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it down below in the comment section. What kind of buffs do you want to see from Bartholomew Kuma? Remember, we all get this guy for free, so even if you do not have him, you'll be able to acquire him through the Rumble season. Hopefully you enjoyed the video though. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.